children, welcome back to your next English class. This is your Nupur ma'am speaking, and you can see this is your chapter 6, May Peace Be With You, and section 1, the last lesson. Okay, so I will describe this chapter with the all paragraphs, with the all lines. The last lesson, this is written by Alphonse Daudet. Okay, first I want to say just a small about the writer Alphonse Daudet. Alphonse Daudet was a French novelist, and he was the husband of Julia Daudet and the father of Edme Daudet and writers Leon Daudet and Lucien Daudet. Okay, he was born on 13th May 1840 at France and died also in France on 18th December 1897. Right. He was a French novelist. Here in this story, you will get a story set in the time of the Franco-Prussian War. That was happened during 1870 to 1871. Okay. Writer Alphonse Daudet describes an indirect causality of war. Narrated by a young boy, the story is about the last class of a French teacher. Last lesson, you can understand the last lesson. This is the last class of a French teacher. And this story is narrated by a young boy. Okay, so I will start the story. I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of scolding, especially because M. Hamel had said that he would question us on participles, and I did not know the first word about them. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending the day out of the doors. It is a young boy is telling, I started for school very late that morning and was in great dread of scolding. Okay. Definitely, suppose you are going to school and you are not going in the time, definitely you will get the scold from the teachers. Especially because M. Hamel, M short form of Monsieur, the French word for Mr. Okay. M. Hamel had said that he would question us on participle. M. Hamel is a teacher, and he told that he would ask some questions on participles. And I did not know the first word about them. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending the day out of the doors. For a moment, he just thought that I would run from the class and I will spend all the day out of the door. It was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods. And in the open field at the back of the sawmill, the Prussian soldiers were drilling. Here, training or practicing drills. Okay, you can see the pictures inside the book, inside the page. Okay, it was all much more tempting than the rule for participles, but I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. The lost battles, the draft, the orders of the commanding officer, the draft, here the order to join the army. And I thought to myself without stopping, what can be the matter now? Then as I hurried by as fast as I could go, the blacksmith watcher who was there with his apprentice reading the bulletin called after me, don't go so fast, bub. Slang, a rude word for boy. Okay, it is a slang word. It's a rude word for boy. Don't go so fast, bub. You will get to your school in plenty of time. I hurried by as fast as I could go. The blacksmith, the watcher, who was there with his apprentice reading the bulletin and called after me, don't go so fast. You will get to school in plenty of time. I thought he was making fun of me and reached M. Hamel's little garden all out of breath. Usually when school began, there was a great bustle. which could be heard out in the street, the opening and closing of desks, lessons repeated in unison very loud with our hands over our ears to understand better, and the teacher's great rulers rapping on the table. But now it was all so still. I had counted on the commotion to get to my desk without being seen, but of course, that day everything had to be as quiet as Sunday morning. Though the window I saw my classmates already in their places and Mr. M. Hamill, walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. Okay, then what happened? I had to open the door and go in before everybody. You can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. Frightened means fear. But nothing happened. M. Hamill saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, little Franz. We were beginning without you." I jumped over the bench and sat down at my desk. No, not till then, when I had got a little over my fright, did I see that our teacher had on his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap on inspection and prize days. Besides, the whole school seemed so strange and solemn. But the thing that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that were always empty, the village people sitting quietly like ourselves. Old Hauser with his three-cornered hat, the former mayor, the former postmaster, and several others besides. Everybody looked sad, and Hauser had brought an old primer means written here, a book to teach young children how to read. Okay, thumbed at the edges, and he held it open on his knees with his great spectacles lying across the pages. While I was wondering about it all, M. Hamill mounted his chair and, in the same grave and gentle tone which he had used to me, said, "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you. The order has come from Berlin to teach only German in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. The new master comes tomorrow. This is your last French lesson. I want to be very attentive," the teacher is saying. What a thunderclap these words were to me. Oh, the wretches, that was what they had put up at the town hall. My last French lesson. Why, I hardly knew how to write. I should never learn any more. I must stop there then. Oh, how sorry I was for not learning my lessons, for seeking birds' eggs, or going sliding on the Saar. Saar means written near the river on the border of France and Germany. It is a river's name, okay? My books that had seemed such a nuisance a while ago, so heavy to carry, my grammar and my history of the sense, were old friends now that I couldn't give up. And M. Hamill too, the idea that he was going away, that I should never see him again, made me forget all about his ruler and how cranky he was. Poor man! It was in honor of this last lesson that he had put on his fine Sunday clothes, and now I understood why the old men of the village were sitting there in the back of the room. It was because they were sorry, too, that they had not gone to school more. It was their way of thanking our master for his 40 years of faithful service and of showing their respect for the country that was theirs no more. Go to the next page. While I was thinking of all this, I heard my name called. It was my turn to recite. What would I not have given to be able to say that dreadful rule for the participle all through, very loud and clear and without one mistake? But I got mixed up on the first words and stood there holding on to my desk, my heart beating and not daring to look up. I heard M. Hamill say to me, I won't scold you. Little French, you must feel bad enough. How it is. See how it is. Every day we have said to ourselves, Bah, I have plenty of time. I will learn it tomorrow. And now you see where we have come out. That's a great trouble with Elsic. She puts off learning till tomorrow. Now those fellows out there will have the right to say to you, how is it you pretend to be Frenchman, and yet you can neither speak nor write your own language? He is asking. But you are not the worst. Poor little French, we have all a great deal to reproach ourselves with. Reproach means it is written here, see. Blame or criticize. Okay. So till here, today I am giving you the description of this paragraph, of these chapters, and on the next day I will discuss more about the next paragraph. So wait for the next day video. Till then, keep watching the video and keep learning. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.